Good morning. How you doing? Good afternoon, shall I say, brothers and sisters out there. Thank you for joining. We definitely are going to get into the scriptures today, get into the Gospels. The Lord is truly wonderful. He is truly faithful, as He's always been in our lives, regardless of the circumstances and situations. And this morning, it was, hey, good morning. How you doing, Sister Reva Brown? Thank you for sharing, Brother Roy. Good morning, Sister Patricia, Brother Perry, Sister Wills, Brother Tony. Shalom to you all. Shalom. Kaya. Ira, Sister Donna Stewart, good morning. Shalom to you as well. Good morning, Brother Mark Smith, to you as well. Stay doing what you're doing, brother. Definitely checking you out, Brother Mark Smith. Stay doing what you're doing is very well much needed, even though some of your posts are very comedic, but it's well needed. All praise to the Most High God for you. Who else is on here? I know brothers and sisters are tuning in and jumping on. Thanks for sharing. Brother Perry, thanks for sharing as well. Just waiting for everybody to start jumping on. I know it's about 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. A lot of brothers and sisters are at work trying to get things situated, trying to get everything moved to the side. Maybe get off the call if you work at a call center. Hey, good afternoon, Sister Nancy. What's going on, and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is, before we get started, what's going on, Brother John? John Williams, Raymond Word Clothing. If you have not checked out Raymond Word Clothing, you definitely want to check it out and be a part of the group and join the group. All right. Okay. Was it Brother Stacy Watkins? Thanks for joining via Brother Roy. Hey, Sister Christina, good morning or good afternoon. Shalom to you as well, Brother Ralph. We had an awesome time this weekend in Jacksonville, Florida. Love the fellowship, man. There was just a fun-filled fellowship with family. I mean, it was just great. Words can't explain. Sister Tristar, what's going on? Grace to you as well. And so we're getting started here. Today's lesson, I was trying to figure out what, just hearing the voice of the Lord, just praying on today, just to see what is needed. And a lot of times, you go down the timeline. A lot of times, you be on Facebook. Brother Casey, what's going on? Minister Casey, what's going on? And you see different things. You encounter people throughout the course of your day. And a lot of times the Spirit uses a lot of those elements, a lot of those things to speak to you, especially when you are a teacher and you're teaching the gospel and you're presenting the gospel. And it's so many things that people are going through. I cannot even imagine being able to hear everyone at the same time and the needs of the people. Hey, Sister Sherry, what's going on? Shalom to you as well. Hearing the needs of the people around the entire world. I mean, you have to have a serious capacity. And this is what made Christ so great, is because of the fact that it took the Father to structure a particular body to hold all of that power in, to be able to meet the needs of the people, not allow your flesh to make you selfish. Remember, Christ had all of these encounters. He had temptation. He was tempted. All these different things that we all encounter and go through, but he overcame. And the great thing was, the great thing about it is the way we all can overcome and overachieve. We all at certain points in our lives grow spiritually. Many of us are still babes in the area of understanding and growing spiritually, let alone knowing gifts and offices and all these different things that we talk about, let alone knowing biblical nationality and heritage and all these things that we talk about. But very few have gotten to a place to where they really have grown spiritually to even understand the elementary principles of God. And I think that as long as we continue to grow, you can't be hard on yourself. You can't allow the pressure of this world or the pressures of time, space, and matter in which we live in to overtake you and get you to the place to where you just want to give up because you feel as though things aren't moving fast enough. I always tell you all the time that the time and space and matter in which we live in, there's limitations to the things that we can do, but in this realm, God is unlimited in eternity and well as time, space, and matter. No matter what's going on, there's no limitations to God. He's unlimited. And I know, a lot of people, I put up a post about, black people who think they're God and all these different things. There's a lot of people out who think that they are. And a lot of people use the scriptures of Psalms 82 to justify, to say that. But if you continue to read, you'll see where he says, but you're going to die like men. Giving you an understanding that, yes, you have the ability to create because I've given you that ability, but at the same time, you're still limited in the capacity in which you could create, which means you're still limited by time, space, and matter, which does not make you a God in the sense of eternity, but it makes you a God in the sense of time, space, and matter because you are a son. That word God is translated to son when you really look at it and get to understanding of it. You're not a God and a being because you get sick. You have to go to the doctor. You have to eat to feed yourself. You bleed. A true and living eternal God, one who was a part of the Elohim, they're angelic beings which can transform themselves between celestial and terrestrial state. We are limited in our capacity. We can't go from celestial to terrestrial. We can only function in one capacity. This is why we have to when we go into space, we need extra thing outside of source of additives to go with being able to breathe out there. You can't breathe naturally in that realm, meaning you're limited. You can't go in the ocean without having some form of oxygen mask or some form of that nature without some form of help. But the thing is, I don't want to get so much into that conversation, but I want to stick to the topic at hand, just really dealing with understanding that a lot of faith, the minute of tangible things and the astronomical faith. That's what I want to deal with. That's what I want to talk about today because there's so many people who are going through so many things. And I put up a Facebook post because I was having a conversation with the Lord and the Lord, like, use your testimony. There's a lot of main things, simple things. I think we make God too hard, make him too complex. He's not that complex. He's very simple. Do this and you're blessed. Do that and you're cursed. He's very simple. He's very simple. We make him so complex and difficult as though God is just this dot floating around, like he's just waiting to throw a lightning bolt down on somebody. Like the way we think of God and the way Hollywood and movies and outside sources outside of the Bible have made God to be has really plagued and destroyed us mentally and spiritually because we don't understand. God is very simple. He's a simple person. He has simple guidelines, just like a parent. Parents have simple rules. You live in their house, you do what they say. That's exactly what it is, or you get out. But when we begin to get into the understanding is that many think that we get caught up, even as believers, getting caught up in the world measure of things. We're supposed to be the ones showing the world or people in this world how to actually serve the true and living God. We're supposed to be the example, the God juniors or the God likes. I don't like to use the term God junior because I use that sometimes to even people who have a God complex, thinking that they are God junior and trying to be able to do things, and move and function as him. But at the same time, we are sons and daughters of the Creator. Therefore, we have creating power. We're very limited. Once we understand the limits that we have, then we become limitless in our faith and trust in him. When you become limitless in your faith and trust in him, then he can move you or take you with him to the place that he's designed for you to go. Everything and everywhere we go, our walk, our calling, the people that we meet is all a plan for that the Creator has set in place for all of our lives. So in actuality, he doesn't follow us. We go with him in his plan, in what he wants to do, the people he wants to reach, the people he wants you to talk to. That's why you have to understand that he's in total control of everything. The issue with people in the world is that they think they're in total control. And the thing is, they will actually make believers think that you are in total control. You've been given a form of control. You haven't been given the entire remote, okay? There's a parental code on the remote that you're given. Okay, you can only turn on certain channels. You can only flip certain channels. And there's a code on there, so when it gets too late at night, the television automatically shuts off. Okay, there's a parental guidance that's on a controller that God has given you. Okay, those parental, they say, listen, okay, you can create, do this, do that, do this, do that. But when it comes to a place that I feel as though you're not mature enough to deal with, then the parental guidance control kicks in. And that's the thing. We all have a control and we all have a certain measure that God has given us. But when we get to the edge or too close to a particular channel and we hit that button, it's going to ask you to put a code in. If you don't have the access code, you cannot go past that. And the Lord is the only one who gives the access code. So the thing is, you have to have astronomical faith, okay, in believing in the Lord. Now, we're not talking about the commercialization of faith in the conversation that you see that popular teachers or popular televangelists and all these people teach. They'll say the popular notion is to have faith for a measure of getting and receiving something materialistic. We're not talking about materialistic faith. We're talking about eternal faith. Eternal faith is God is in control and I'm willing to go with him where he wants to go. And I'm willing to believe in him on everything that I need, not everything that I want. Your heart and your wants can fool you and trick you and cause you to get out of the area of need and cause you to not appreciate the needs that's provided. And therefore, you'll start asking God for all these wants and things that you don't need that will destroy you. So the commercialization of faith is not the actual understanding of biblical faith. We're going to be able to look at this and look at how this works. Okay, this works. Once we get an understanding of biblical faith, the thing is, to be honest with you, there's a faith in believing in the Creator, in believing that he exists without seeing him. That's one measure. Okay, that's based on faith of salvation. Okay, then you have the other level of faith in which you believe in God to do something for someone else. The commercialization of faith makes you believe that everything you need to believe for is to get something for yourself. But biblically, the biblical faith understanding is that when you are to believe for others, when they can't believe for themselves. When we look in the scriptures, those who believe, and especially under the new covenant, they always had faith in God for someone else. It wasn't, hey, look, do this for me because I want you to do this for me or because I need it materialistically. Or it was someone who believes because they have tried everything in the tangible world and it was unsuccessful. They tried to go to doctors. These are people who had cures, who needed cures, who were on the edge and the brink of death. They put their faith in all the doctors and it did not work. Then they got to the place where they tried everything and now I need to believe in someone above, outside of time, space, and matter who can bring a deliverance in my life. But it wasn't about tangible things. This is about life. Then there were others who had faith, who believed for someone else who were unable to. They weren't running around there asking God for cars, boats, planes, and big churches, and they weren't asking for 20,000 member stadiums. Listen, brothers and sisters, I'm not against that. There's nothing. If that's what you, if the Lord has blessed you to be able to have your voice to be assigned to 20,000 people, then as long as it's in the right standing, in the right heart for the people, I have no problem with that. But if it's driven by because I see someone else is successful and I want what they got, then the problem lies at your door. And therefore, you're going to end up getting into a place where if you get it, the gift is going to become a curse to you, because now you're going to fleece the people and God is going to deal with you. So we have to understand the understanding of faith, not the commercialization of faith. We're talking about the biblical understanding of believing. Faith for others. This is what this is about. Faith for others. All right. If we begin to teach this and understand this, we will take the power out of the hand of the naysayers. Because I'm not praying and believing to have something in mind. I'm walking in, I understand how this works. How? Because I know if I keep God's commandments, if I live according to his word, I don't have to ask for it. I don't have to ask to be successful. Success is going to be attached to me. For one, my heart is right. And for two, I'm serving the true and living God. And I'm going about it the right way. When you go about it the wrong way, then you give power to naysayers to be able to say, oh, all y'all do is y'all praying and asking God for all this materialistic stuff. Y'all just want to pimp the people. All you're doing is talking about money and all. If you instill faith into the people, you don't have to lock the church doors and tell them that you need $6,000, or if you're not, ain't nobody leaving. You don't have to do that. When the people understand how it works, when they understand from the biblical perspective of how faith works and how it works as an assembly, I ain't got to tell the people nothing. As a matter of fact, I ain't even got to ask them for no offering. The Spirit will move upon the people so to the point to where the people will begin to give out of their own bosom. And you don't have to put a price tag on it. The people will go above and beyond this because the Spirit is resting upon them, and they understand that this building place in which we meet has lights. There's tangible things. You got, just like at my house, there's a light on here. I have to pay the light bill. But I'm not coming on here asking anybody, hey, give me some money because I'm preaching and I got lights on in my house. Wrong conversation leads to wrong understanding. Wrong conversation leads to wrong understanding. When you make statements like that, then you place into the people that it's not about God. That's what happened. And the people are smart enough to understand that. You didn't see Christ doing that. You didn't see the apostles doing that. They didn't have to do that because the Spirit was always moving upon the people. Okay, now let's get into the scriptures here, because I want to show you something about having, all you have to do is have an astronomical size faith. You can have a minute of tangible things. And I put up the post this morning because I wanted you guys to see, I'm an artist, I'm a gospel rapper, as well as I preach the gospel. I evangelize. I do all these things according to the scriptures, as the scriptures say that we should do. And the thing is that once I stopped letting go and I was listening to all these voices, oh yeah, you dope, but yet you need a business plan. Yeah, you're dope, but you need more money. Yes, you're dope, but you need this. Yes, you're dope. Everything was about yes, you're dope. And these are talking about people who say they believe in the Bible, but yet they believe more in the system. Now, I understand that it does take money to do everything in this world in which we live in. Okay, I understand that. I understand the principles of money. I understand that wholeheartedly. But I also understand that the Creator is not limited to how much money you have. He's looking, and his eyes is roaming through the earth, looking for who is going to represent him correctly. Okay, this is the thing. A lot of people aren't elevated is because of the fact that these people, okay, are not going to represent him properly. Then you have those who are, but once they get to a certain level, the system turned their hearts. And then the Lord had to lift the veil off of them to stop from killing them. He'll expose them to the world, which is a part of his grace, just to stop from killing them. Okay? Because one thing about the Lord is not going to allow you to make him look like a fool. No, he don't want you to make yourself look like a fool. But if it comes to the expense of you making him look like a fool, he'll step back off you. He'll pull back, as Saul. All right. Now let's get into the scriptures here. We're going to go to Matthew chapter number 14. I want to look at Matthew chapter number 14. And we're going to start at, all right, again, the minute of tangible things, but yet we need an astronomical level of faith. Okay. The Lord is looking for the astronomical level of faith. All right. That's what he's looking for. And not faith in things that you can get in for yourself. He's looking for those who are selfless, who are all about others and not so much about themselves. Once you become like that, where you're all about others and seeing others elevate and seeing others move and prosper and all these things, then the Lord can trust you to take you to another level. But it's always the kingdom mindset has always been about making sure others were growing spiritually, making sure others understood. Hey, if a man asks you for your jacket, your shirt, give him your jacket also. See the principle? Hey, if the man wants your shoes, okay, hey, give him your socks too. This is the principle of Christ. This is the principle of the kingdom. If the person need it, if they need it, okay, then that's how it works. And the Lord will provide. All right. But we're so poor to the point. We're selfish, man. We're selfish. Matthew chapter number 14. And we are at Matthew 14. And we're going to start at verse number 13. All right. Matthew 14 and 13. When Jesus heard of it, he departed thence by ship into a desert. All right, into a desert place apart. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the cities. Now check this out. You have a whole lot of people. Christ always had a crowd following him. He would always use the crowd to teach. He would always use the crowd to slip away. He would use the crowd to teach. Many of us, we want to use the crowd to show off and show what we know. He's not into showing how much he knows. He's resolved in who he is. See, when you're resolved in who you are, there's no showing out for the people. You don't have to cut up for the people or do something to make people see you. When you're resolved in who you are, you use the crowd as a teachable moment. Every time he used the crowd because he knew that the crowd would take the teachable moment and spread it. He was used the crowd. See, we like to use the crowd as a teachable moment, or we like to use the crowd as a moment to make our name great. Christ would use the crowd to teach them, don't be like the Pharisees, and also to teach them, or also use the crowd as word of mouth. He used the crowd as advertising. See, that's the thing we don't understand, that the importance of the crowd is to use the crowd and for teaching and advertising. Advertising of what? Not of oneself, but advertising of the gospel. Advertising of the Creator. So he would always use the crowd. He'll let the crowd get around, let the crowd follow him and all this kind of stuff. And when the crowd got around, soon as they got to the place where the crowd wanted to uplift him, then he'll slip away on them. Now, how many of you are willing to slip away from the crowd? Or how many of you are willing to want more people to come? Hey, we got 10 people here. Hey, we need to promote more so more people can come. Hey, we need to do more. We need to do more. We need to do something else. Instead of 10, you want 20. Instead of 20, you want 50. Instead of 50, you want 100. Instead of 100, you want 500. You're never satisfied because you are all about making sure that the crowd make your name great. But Christ didn't do that. When the crowd came around and they started to try to uplift him, he would dip on them. They'd turn around, where did he go? Where did he go? Sometimes he'll slip and wouldn't even tell the disciples where he went. He'll just dip on them. And the disciples looking for, where did he go? By the time they realized, he catching up with them somewhere else. And he didn't tell them he was leaving. He did because he knew that he was here for a purpose. A lot of you don't know your purpose. A lot of you don't know why you're here. A lot of you don't even know why the Lord brought you into the truth. A lot of you don't even understand a lot of things about yourself. But when you don't know who you are and you're not resolved, you will follow the crowd. And that's why we have many people following crowds. Hey, that church over there pretty big. It's a lot of people. They must be teaching the truth. You'll follow the crowd because you see all the cars outside the church. And you still don't get it. You still don't understand. Now, Christ he's sitting there and he heard. The apostles, the disciples heard. The people heard. What did they hear? If you read from verse 1 down to 13, you'll find out that that the word had spread it about Christ. Herod heard about how the people begin to talk. You know, Christ would tell them, hey, don't go tell nobody. Don't tell nobody I did this. But the people, they couldn't keep it in. They was like Jeremiah, I got to tell somebody about this. I'm telling you, many of you today would do the same thing. A lot of y'all do the same. A lot of y'all got that gossiping. Y'all just gossip. And Christ is like, listen, I hear your daughter don't go tell nobody. You know what you do? You going to turn around as soon as you going to say, I'm not going to tell nobody, I promise. And as soon as he get out, as soon as he leave your house, you going to pick up the phone and call your girlfriend or your friend or somebody and say, man, you're not going to believe this. My daughter's alive. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody because I told him I wasn't going to tell nobody. And next thing you know, the word just traveled before you know it, everybody know. Christ said, don't tell nobody. This is not about the glorification of myself. I didn't come to do my will. I came to do the will of him who sent me. It was prophesied by the prophets that I would come and that I would heal. I'm just fulfilling what the scriptures wrote. You know, when people say, he did not come to destroy the law, but he came to fulfill. Well, he came to fulfill. He did not come to destroy the law. He came to fulfill what the prophets said he would do. That's what he come to fulfill. Y'all got it misinterpreted. Y'all got it misinterpreted. He said he was coming to fulfill. There were several times when he went into the temple on the Sabbath day and they handed him the scroll and he found what Isaiah said. And he said right here, this is prophecy that is fulfilled because Isaiah said that he would come into the temple and he would find the place where it is written and that he will proclaim what was in prophecy. And he came to fulfill everything that was spoken of him in prophecy. Okay, that's what he's talking about. That's what it's talking about, all right? Which I don't want to get into that. That's a whole nother lesson. But anyway, they heard about Herod. Herod heard about how the people started taking his name and making his name great. His name began to grow. Any king at that particular time, kings are threatened by others whose name are becoming bigger than theirs. You see it right now. You see it right now. You see it. You see the politicians. You see it within the church leaders. When they find someone's name is growing and their name start growing bigger than them, they direct attention. They want to, what is he talking about? What's going on? And some of them get jealous, some of them get envy, and some of them try to ride the wave too. They say, hey, I want to be able to connect with this guy because I want to be able to say that I was the one who discovered him. Let me tell you something. The Lord is not the true sons and daughters who are being raised up in this day, those that the Spirit is being poured upon. Nobody, and I want you to hear me good, nobody is going to be able to say, I made them. Nobody. There's a difference in confirming and affirming a person. There's nothing wrong with that. You see that within the scriptures in the New Testament. You see Barnabas and Ananias, they went ahead and was witnesses and say, hey, yes, the Lord did call Paul and all this kind of these things. Yeah, the Lord called them. So you need someone who has a relationship with others to affirm you and say, yes, there's nothing wrong with that. But nobody will be able to say, even in the scriptures, when Paul was called, when Saul was called, nobody was able to say it. But Christ himself, I have called him. And everybody else that was around, they understood. Ananias understood. He said, yes, Lord, I hear you, I'm going. You called him, okay, cool, fine. Now I need you to declare it to the brethren because they're going to ask, because a lot of them, they're going to have personal preferences. But nobody in this day and time, just like it was of old, nobody not the true sons and daughters of the Most High God. Now, nobody's going to be able to say, I made them, because nobody is going to be able to co-sign you but the Lord. When you come up, when people finally hear about you, you step on the scene, people are going to wonder where you came from. And all the time behind the scenes, you've been prepping. They ain't been seeing your preparation. All of a sudden, they see your arrival. And they think you just showed up on the scene. No, I've been preparing for this for 10, 15 years. The Lord kept my name in behind the scenes, kept my face behind the scenes, because he's going to let everybody else do their thing and get out of the way. And as soon as, when everybody's looking for some kind of hope, or everybody trusting in all these other people more than God, it's going to be somebody that's going to come on the scene. Another reason why that nobody's going to be able to co-sign them is simply because they are not going to be declaring and speaking the same thing as the people whose voice is on the scene right now. Let me tell y'all something. I'm telling y'all right now. Listen, these other folks, they're not going to even want to co-sign them. You know why? Because they're going to be speaking things that are so far out of the norm that people that follow traditions have never heard. It's going to be so crazy. They're going to think, what is he talking about? He's talking about another God. He's talking about another. That's not a part of our doctrine. Our elders and church founders didn't say this kind of stuff. And guess what? God don't care what your church fathers had to say. God don't care what your elders and their tradition is all about. When it's time to declare the acceptable year of the Lord, he's going to have brothers and sisters of God who are fearless and not afraid to say what thus saith the Lord. They're not looking to be stars. They're not looking to be a part of the who's club. They're not looking to be none of that. They are going to step on the scene and they're going to declare it. And just in case those who want to rise up, who are in leadership right now, just in case they want to try to blackball them and put a bad name on them, signs and wonders are going to follow them to the point to where no matter what these big dogs are talking about, the people are going to know it's a difference between you and them. They talking while you performing. And that's the thing. You got to understand something. Everybody around here just talking, but people wondering, where are the greater works? Brothers and sisters, the greater works are coming. God got them behind the scenes. He said, I got 7,000 prophets who ain't bowed to Baal. You don't even know them. They ain't got no big names. They ain't talking like everybody else. They ain't walking or dressing like everybody else, but they full of the Spirit. And when they come on the scene, when they open their mouth, people gonna know it's something different about them. When they walking and the signs and wonders are taking place, people are gonna know it's something different about these than the others who've been talking. And that's the thing. It's a whole lot of talking, but ain't a lot of performing. And the Lord is keeping the performers behind the scenes, while at the same time, everybody else doing their thing. But the Lord is about to unleash the Joel brothers and sisters. He is about to release them. And when they come on the scene, I'm telling y'all right now, y'all better get prepared. They not going to look nothing like what y'all seeing right now, but they going to be full of power and demonstration, and they're going to be speaking this word, and they're going to be rightly dividing it, and they're going to be revealing mysteries in these scriptures that other folks who got degrees and all kind of other stuff cannot even comprehend. I'm telling y'all it's coming. I'm telling y'all it's coming. All right? I've been saying it, and I'm telling y'all it's coming. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to this Bible. All right? Let's get back to it. Hold on. All right, here we go. First, when you go back to it and read that Herod heard about the name of Christ because he was afraid. All right, his name. They already tried to kill him when he was a child. Okay, they already tried to put him to death when he was a child. That didn't work. I'm telling y'all, there are people that's trying to take you out. It's people been trying to take you out for years. It's people that's been trying to make your name bad for years, and they can't do it. They can't do it. You know why they can't do it? Because you are destined for something way greater than them, and that's why they're trying to take you out. They're trying to take you out. They're trying to put a bad name on you, trying to talk about you. They even trying to use your children against you, all kind of other stuff, and it's not going to work. That's why you got to hang in there. You got to endure through the foolishness, endure through the perils of the things that's coming at you. It's not going to overtake you. This is not for your destruction, but this is for your learning and it's for your strength. So that way, when you do step on the scene, all the stuff that's coming at you will be a light work. You're like, man, please. And then you'll be able to help somebody else. When they're going through issues with their children and spouses, you'll be able to encourage them because you've been to the place where they've been. You don't have no experience in a situation. How in the world are you going to perform the job? You got to have experience to perform a job. Okay, your behind the scenes, all right, your behind the scenes is a part of your training, all right, your training. So when you come on the scene, you can be able to help. Oh, you be able to help. Oh, I know how to handle this situation. I know how to handle that situation. Oh, that ain't nothing. Yeah, I did. I went through that in 1992. That ain't nothing. Let me explain you how to do this. Oh, he acting like this. Okay, girl, just pray for him. Just go ahead and say this. Here's a scripture. Read this scripture right here. Oh, your child out of control. Don't worry about it, girl. Let me tell you something. Go on a fast for this many days right here, such and such, and turn around and talk to the Lord, and then do this, such and such. You'll be able to give them all this type of things because you've been through it before. Now you're able to help other people come out of what they're in. But the thing is, the person that you're going to help, they aren't going to have to go through what you went through because you went through it for them. A lot of times the Lord will use you to go through a situation so that other people don't have to go through it because they aren't built enough to handle all you went through. They're only built enough to handle maybe a small portion of what you went through. And the Lord will use you to come bring deliverance into their lives. Okay? Now, let's keep reading here. All right? Let's keep reading. Let's go to what, let me finish up here. Herod, all right, Herod heard about him, all right. We know that he took John, he had John killed when you read verse 1 through 13, all right. Now, when you get to verse number 13, listen to verse number 14, all right. And Jesus went forth and saw a great multitude. They go to multitude again. I told you, when you go into the scriptures, you're going to find out from Matthew chapter number 5 all the way to the end of the book, the crowd is always following. Okay, he's always aware of his surroundings. Let me listen, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. Okay, let me explain to y'all. Okay, everywhere your foot treads, listen to me, brothers and sisters. Always be aware of your surroundings. Okay, it doesn't matter where it is. It don't matter if it's at church, camps. It don't matter if it's at the job. It don't matter if you're pumping gas. Listen, you have to always be aware of your surroundings. Because reason why? Not from the point of fear, of being fearful of your surroundings, but you be aware of always around your surroundings. Why? Because you're always waiting and looking for an opportunity to witness to somebody. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. Christ was always aware of his surroundings. When you're aware, again, don't be aware out of fear. Yes, if you're now listen, if you're in a certain part of the neighborhood, you want to make sure that you checking the environment out to make sure that things ain't popping up. Make sure ain't nobody shooting, robbing, so you can get in the car and speed off. Don't be no fool now. Have some wisdom. But all I'm saying is now, when you get everywhere you go, you're always looking for an opportunity to be a mouthpiece for the true and living God. That is what you're there for. Okay, so make sure that your surroundings is always on. You're always on point with your surroundings. Because why? Why do you want to be aware? Because you may have to witness to one person. If you see somebody dressed in a corporate suit driving a Ferrari, there's a different way that you witness to that person than a person that you witness to in the hood. They got rims, big rims on their cars, paint job, they smoking weed, they looking at it. It's a different way. A man who wins souls is wise. So you're aware of your surroundings. The person that is rich, you can't go to them with a conversation like you talk to the boys in the hood. You have to go to them with the proper conversation like you're making a corporate deal. All right. This is not compromise. This is wisdom. Okay. Then when you deal with the boy in the hood, you can't talk to him like you go into the Fortune 500 company board meeting where you talk about all these numbers and all this other stuff and how this works. No, Christ understood when he dealt with people with farming. He dealt with farming equipment. When he dealt with the doctor, he dealt with that. He understood. He was well-rounded and resolved in who he was. He knew it wasn't about compromise, but he knew that it was about making sure that it's all pretty much the element of surprise. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're reaching people properly. All right, now let's move forward here. Look at this. Here goes the crowd. Verse number 14. And Jesus went forth and saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion towards them, and he healed their sick. Listen, he recognized the crowd that was around him. Not only did he recognize the crowd, but he recognized the need of the crowd. See, true sons and daughters of the Most High God are always sensitive to the needs of the people. Let me tell you, I'm telling you, see, this Bible will expose any false teacher. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm telling you, when you dig into this Bible with the spirit of the Most High God, when you dig into this Bible and you begin to read it, you'll begin to see all these false people. You'll begin to see them. You'll be like, man, that dude false as I don't know what. All right, I don't care how many people follow. I don't care how big his church is. I don't care how many books he done wrote. I don't care what kind of car he driving, how many conferences he teaching at. You just see it, you're like, man, that dude false. He's a false teacher. He's a false teacher. Okay, he's a false teacher. All right, you turn on TBN, you can turn on the Word Number. I don't care what it. You will recognize a false teacher. You keep staying in this Bible. See, that's the problem. This is the reason why many false teachers don't want to teach you the volume of the book. They want to teach you one area. Every teacher, it doesn't matter what anyone, are able to teach on every level. Every biblical, no matter what office you're in, you're the prophet, the teacher, the pastor, the evangelist. It doesn't matter what it is, the apostle. All of you, no matter what office you function in, should be able to teach this Bible from front to back. Yeah, listen, it shouldn't be no, I'm just a prosperity teacher. It shouldn't be, I'm just a grace teacher. No, these are systems. Okay, that's a system that you are confined to. And if you want to be systematic and live in that bubble, then go right ahead. Because when grace, you're a grace teacher, and all you teaching people is grace. When you teaching people all about prosperity, when some hell hit their household and all they know about is prosperity, they're going to die. They're going to die because you can't throw prosperity gospel when your marriage is in turmoil. You can't throw the prosperity scripture at that. You can't throw the prosperity doctrine at that when you're going through a situation where your spouse is about to leave you. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. You got to make sure you teach this gospel and teach this Bible to the fullness of it, the volume of it, so that the people can have an understanding on how to live in a realm of time, space, and matter. Okay? Within this realm, it's all kinds of stuff going on in this realm. Okay, you got all kind of demonic and evil stuff going on in this realm. This is why it's going to be destroyed and a new heaven and a new earth got to be created. This is why you're going to have a glorified body where there's no more pain, there's no more suffering, there's no more crying, there's no more hurting, there's no more getting sick. Okay, as long as you within the limitations of this time, space, and matter in which we live, all of these things are capable to function, and all of them are you're almost guaranteed to encounter them. But you need to make sure that what you're dealing with here, you need to make sure that every situation and circumstance, I need to know how to live. I don't want to just exist, okay? I don't want to exist in this world. I want to live here on my way to the kingdom that is coming, okay? While I wait for the kingdom to come, I need to be able to live in this world. Okay, I need to be able to live in this world, understanding tangible things and understanding spiritual things. All right, I don't need to just be existing. It's people. You can see the guy that's just walking down the corner out of his mind, just talking to himself. He's existing. He's not living. That's not living. That's existing. Okay, that is existing. The brother who's just walking down the street on drugs, strung out, talking to himself. People that just sitting there. I mean, all this kind of stuff. That's existing. I don't want to exist, okay? And I don't want God's people to just exist. I want them to live until New Jerusalem comes. And we continue to live after that in our new created spiritual without blemish bodies, okay? Until then, we got to be able to live, man. We got to, all right? We need to learn how to. All right, because that's one thing that brothers and sisters aren't being taught, and that's why when they just exist and they come into the truth, they go backslide and fall back. You know why? Because of the fact that they haven't been taught how to live. Keep my commandments and live. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm telling you. They not taught that. And a lot of brothers and sisters within the Christian church, this is the reason why a lot of them, the divorce rate is high and they going through all kind of sicknesses and all this other kind of stuff. It's because we are not being taught, or we're not teaching the people how to live according to the scriptures. All we're doing is just showing them how to exist. And that's the thing. When you exist, you're just satisfied with where you're at right now. Even within time, space, and matter, within this earth in which we live, we can still live at a greater level spiritually until we're no longer in corruptible bodies. All right, let's keep rolling here. Verse number 14. And I'm reading from the KJV English translation. And Jesus went forth and saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion towards them. He saw them. Look at this. Let me show y'all this. Check this out. And when Jesus went forth, he saw. Saw speaks to connection. When he looked at them, he connected with the people. You can't have compassion on people if you don't connect with them. This is the problem I got with a lot of you brews. This is the problem I got. This is the problem I got with you brews. A lot of you brews, y'all don't know how to connect with nobody. You don't know how to connect, man. This is why you can't reach people. You think the people are the problem. No, your connection is the problem. That's the problem. That is the problem. You don't know how to connect with people. All right? People first, there has to be a connection. Connection brings forth compassion, which causes correction in people's lives. And this is that when we look at Christ, that's what he did. He walked in that manner. Oh man, I'm already getting into the conference. Okay, we're doing a conference in Jacksonville, the Triple C conference, connection, compassion, and correction. And we're working on, I got a phone meeting tomorrow. And it's going to be awesome, for the conference. But it's an evangelism conference of connecting, compassion, and correction. All right. But anyway, let's keep moving. All right. All right. Let's move here. All right. So listen, look at it. Verse 14, it says, and when he went forth, he saw a great multitude. He saw the multitude. He saw them. He didn't open his mouth. He didn't yell at them across the street. Okay? He didn't cuss them out. He didn't throw stuff at them. He saw them, and he saw the needs of the people. It takes the Spirit to understand and be compassionate to the needs of the people. Brothers and sisters, I understand where you're at. So when I understand where you're at in your walk, or if I understand where you're at being attached to something false or not right, my compassion, which is my love for God's people, causes me to be patient with them. But you cannot display the level of connection to them without first connecting to them. If you're not connected, this is the problem with a lot of Republicans, and I don't get involved in politics. I could care less. There's two different parties, the same party, okay? They're the same bird with two different wings, all right? But the thing is, people say that, well, they don't know how to connect with the black community, okay? They have a connection problem. This is the reason why the Democrats, okay? You got the Republicans who tell tales, and you got the Democrats who are just crooked. Okay, they have mastered connection, no compassion, no correction. The Republicans, they have no connection, no compassion, but always trying to correct. Both of them are disconnected. It's the same thing with the church and the brews. Both of you are just like them. So we have to get to the place of understanding, connecting with people to show compassion. And then that will bring correction. We're doing it backwards. We're trying to correct people without showing compassion and any form of connection. And that doesn't work. That's not how it works. Okay, let's keep rolling here, all right? Let's see here. Verse number 14, all right? He saw the multitude and was moved with compassion. He was moved with compassion. So there was an action in his spirit that would cause him to, his connecting with them and his compassion, okay, his connection didn't cause his vision to be blurred. And every person that was there, he saw their need differently. But he did not allow what he saw, the state that they were in, to cause them to be blurred, cause his vision to be blurred, because he was already connected with him first. Then he was moved with compassion. So his vision is sharp and on point. He understands the needs of each and every last person. He's not being swayed by the voice of the crowd. He understands his surrounding. He's not listening to the murmurings, the complainings, how hot it is, how people need water. He's not listening to the voices of the disciples. He's so tuned in and honed in to the situation at hand that he's loved the people so much, he wants to see them out of the situation they're in. And that's the problem. We have to get to the point where we love the people so much to where we will love them out of their situation. Love does not mean compromise. It doesn't mean compromise. That's not what it means. Now, let's keep rolling here. All right? They followed him on foot out of the city. All right? So they followed him. Everywhere he went, they followed him. They followed him. Everywhere he went, they followed him. Because they understood. How many people are willing to follow Christ everywhere he goes? See, when you follow him, you understand that he's in control of your life. Brother said, I ain't going to church. I'm not going to them churches. You think Christ wouldn't go in there? You think that Christ has not resolved to go into anywhere? See, when you resolve to know who you are and you know that the Lord is on your side and you know the authority you walk in, the place in the building is nothing. Because your purpose is not there. You're not afraid of whatever type of things that are in there. You're not afraid of what's going on. You're resolved with who you are. And you know you walk in the power and demonstration, and you understand that the word is solid in you and sound. I can go in any place. I ain't afraid of nothing because I understand. And my position is to make sure you understand who you are in Christ. So the multitude didn't care if they would follow him wherever. They will follow him. They've been following him from Matthew chapter 5. They've been going up the mountain and down. They going in the valleys. They ain't care about going to work. They don't care. See, when you're connected to the Lord, nothing matters. I'm not worried about trying to become the next big household name. I'm following Christ. Wherever he goes, that's where I go. It didn't matter where they slept at. They didn't care about sleeping on the ground. Many of you, I need some covers and blankets. I can't sleep on this dirty grass. They didn't care. All they wanted to do was be near the Messiah. Can you get to the place to where all you want to do is just have him and nothing else matters? Have you gotten to that place? Have you gotten to that place? How long is it going to take you to get to that place? The Lord said, I can't use you if you don't want to follow. If you are limiting me in where you want to go, then how can I use you? Therefore, if you're afraid to follow me wherever I go, then I got to use somebody else who is. I got to use somebody who is. I don't want to hear your excuses about how many jobs you got to work and how much time, how much sleep you don't have and how much money you don't have and how many resources you don't have and all these 1,100 excuses. Excuses don't make God sympathetic for you. He's not sympathetic for you. Listen, you don't want to do what he say? Okay, fine. You don't want to do what I say, Jonah? Get in the great fish. And until you're ready, you're going to stay right in the rut that you in until you do what I tell you to do. But while at the same time, you hating on everybody else because everybody else is moving and walking in what the Lord told them to do, and they following the Lord, and you hating on everybody else while at the same time standing outside and still don't get it. Let's keep reading. Verse 14, and Jesus went forth and saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion towards them, and he healed their sick. He healed them. He healed them. He healed their sick. The sick had been following him since the 5th chapter. Some of the people didn't get healed in chapter 5, but they kept following. How many of you are still sick? Still having issues? How many of you are still having issues with alcoholism? How many of you are having issues with drugs, sexism? Are you going to follow him till you get your breakthrough? Or are you going to be like everybody else? God, you ain't moving fast enough, so I'm going to find another source. Some of the people didn't get healed in chapter 5, but they found their healing right here in chapter 14. How long are you willing to follow? Do you want microwave success? Or do you want crock pot success? It's a big difference in microwave and crock pot. Crock pot may take longer, but it tastes better. It soothes. Everybody, this world will have you thinking about following the microwave. That's why people jumping out here trying to start churches. People jumping out here trying to start camps. People jumping out here trying to teach. People jumping out here trying to do all this other stuff. All because they got a little microwave information. Haven't sat at the feet of the Messiah long enough. But because they see everybody else doing their thing. And the people that seem like they doing their thing, they got microwave success, and theirs are going to be crashing in a minute. Stay focused. Keep your eyes on the Lord and follow him. And be patient. Let's keep reading. Verse 15. And when it was evening, his disciples came to him saying, this is a desert place. Listen to the disciples. See, you're gonna always have naysayers around you too. You're gonna always have, you the one you got the faith. You believe, you know that the Lord is gonna do it. You've been following him. You know that the Creator has all the power. There's nothing he can do. He can do all things but fail. But there are people around you that don't believe like you. Are you going to let the voices of the naysayers and people who don't believe like you, are you going to allow them to cause you to veer off and find another source? Are you going to allow the naysayers and the people who are around who are speaking contrary? When the voice of God comes, it's always a contrary voice somewhere around the corner. All the time. after this message, after you hear this lesson, you all charged up and you believe your faith is growing. And the enemy is sitting right back on the side while you're listening to this message in the word of God. And somebody is going to come at you in your inbox, and somebody is going to come at you through the telephone, or some type of situation on your job, some kind of bill or something is going to come to rob you of the revelation. But don't let fear steal your revelation, brothers and sisters. Don't allow that. Don't allow negative voices to cloud your spiritual eyes. Don't allow negative voices to clog up your ears to the voice of God. And a lot of times the Lord allows the negative voices to come just so you can see how things work, and just so you can see how much power you have to overcome the negative voices. You have the power to tune out any voice that comes. But so many times we allow the other voices to make us make decisions when we've already been listening to the voice of God, following him. Now listen to the disciples. Listen what they say. Because you have to remember, these brothers are still continuous learners. They're disciples. They haven't become apostles yet. They are continuously learning. They haven't mastered it yet. They're still in their season of growth. So listen to what it said. And when it was evening, his disciples came unto him saying, "This is a desert place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves victuals." Now check this out. This is a teachable moment. Christ got the crowd in one place. Everybody is in one place. They've been walking with him for a long time. They've gotten hungry. They're thirsty. They're still pursuing after their deliverance. Some of their sick have gotten healed, but now they followed them so far away from their home that the only person that they can trust is Christ that's in front of them. They've been trusting him to follow him. Now, when you trust the Lord so much that you're willing to follow him anywhere he goes, he's going to make sure that you are provided for. The disciples sent him away. But Christ understands. He's already connected with them. The compassion is there. He's beginning to heal their sick. The sick. He got them all in one place. He understands that my children, my sons and daughters have been following me. I can't just abandon them. How many pastors do we know that people have been following them? All of a sudden they get to a place where they abandon the people. This is not of God. God doesn't function that way. He said, listen, you want me to send them away. They've been following me and trusting in me everywhere I go. Why am I going to push them away? To depend on themselves when they've given up everything to follow me. Our God doesn't function that way. His character. He says, I'm a God that I change not. His character is the same. He has a guaranteed character. He has guaranteed integrity. He does not change or sway with the wind. He understands that he's a father, and a father is to provide for his children. How many men do we know that have gone from job to job? They've moved their families 10 times To up one day, just leave their family, leave the mother and their children all by themselves, running after another woman. After the children and the mother have been following them, trusted in their word that things are going to be all right, that they're going to provide. And yet they get to a place where they've gotten to the children and the mother to a place to now that they've given up. Now they've run out on the whole family and going off and starting another with another woman. This is not of God. God doesn't function that way. Disciples saying, send the people away. Send them away. Let them go get their own food. Let them take care of their own self. And Christ used the moment. He used this to be a teachable moment, not just for the people, but for the ones who follow him. Many of you are leaders who are following Christ. You see the needs of the people. And Christ used it as a teachable moment. You disciples are going to be apostles one day. You disciples, while you're with me, I need to teach you how to be servant leaders. Everybody want to be a leader, but don't nobody want to be a servant either. You can, in the kingdom of God, the greatest leaders are the greatest servants. You follow the system of this world, and everybody that are leaders, everybody bow to them. And Christ said, no, I'm going to teach you. Let me show you by washing your feet. No, you can't wash our feet. See, that's the system of the world. To uphold kings and treat them as though they're higher than everybody else. And the Lord said, no, let me show you what the kingdom of God is all about. If I can't wash your feet, if I can't show you, because this is about showing you how to be true leaders. If I can't wash your feet, you have no part of me. Christ said, I'm the Son of the Most High God. I was there in the beginning, watching all of this being created. And I'm going to lead by serving. I'm going to wash your feet. I'm going to make sure everything is provided to other people. This is faith on behalf of the people. This isn't faith based on himself. This isn't about him. This isn't about the leaders. This isn't about the world in which we live in, how they teach faith and leadership. Oh, honor them and all this whole kind of, no. The kingdom of God, the leaders serve the people. There's no other witness born of a woman greater than John. But in the kingdom of God, John is the least. And the least is greater than John. Everything about this world system is totally opposite from God and his system. This is why the traditions of men is always at war with God's kingdom. This is why everybody on this side, they'll fight and do everything they can do to get into a higher position or become stars. They'll kill people. They'll cut people's throat. They'll get people thrown in jail. They'll lie on people. They'll do all kind of things to get into a higher position. And Christ said, in the kingdom, we got servant leaders. I came down here, wrap myself up in this corruption just to serve you and show you how to serve the people. Come on, man, I'm telling y'all, man, this Bible will cut it all. This Bible will cut all this foolishness. All right, let's keep reading, y'all. All right, verse number 15. And when it was evening, all right, his disciples said, all right, now let's go to verse 16. But Jesus said unto them, you want me to send the people away? But watch what he says. He says, they need not depart. He said, are you crazy? You think I'm going to send these people away? Do you really think I'm going to send these people away? Based off your carnal understanding and based off the systems that you've been following, you want me to send these people away? Absolutely not. My Father's reputation is on the line. My name is on the line. I'm not sending these people away when they've been reading and they know the history of the God of Israel as being a provider, and you think I'm finna make my Father's name look bad by sending them away? No. Heaven and earth will pass away before my word fails or before I tell a lie. The word has already been solid. He's a provider. He does the things that he has to do. He does the things to provide for the people. He has the cares of the people. The government shall be on his shoulders. Our God is guaranteed. He's on time. And he does not fail. Let's keep reading. 16. But Jesus said unto them, they need not depart. Give ye them to eat. He said, look, since you want me to send them away, you give them something to eat. I was going to, you know what? I could have stepped out there and just provided. But you know what? I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm going to teach you a lesson, disciples, so you won't push nobody else away. Y'all think y'all something because y'all been walking with me. Y'all think y'all something because the crowd following. See, y'all caught up in the crowd and y'all like the crowd, but y'all don't want to provide for the crowd. See, that's the thing. Everybody want the crowd to follow them, but they don't want to provide for the crowd. When the crowd follows, you have a great responsibility of providing spiritually for the people and providing tangibly for the people. You want the people to give? Well, you give too. This is not a one-way street. This is not a one-way street. Christ said, these people been following me. I have a responsibility to provide for them. You think just standing up you think just giving a speech and a sermon is providing for the people? Got it twisted. It's bigger than just 3 points. Exegesis. And all this other stuff that y'all throwing around. Sermon titles and all this other kind of stuff. This is bigger than that. And that's the problem. You love your sermon more than you love the people. You love teaching Facebook Live more than you love the people. You love going to conferences, teaching at conferences, selling books, writing books more than you love the people. And the Lord said, I'm sick of it. You don't love my people? I will give you the dry mouth. You don't love my people? I will turn their ears deaf to your voice. You don't love the people? I will cause them to walk away from your building. You don't love the people? I'll stop them from giving. Keep playing with the Creator. Keep playing with them. You have a foreclosed sign so fast on your church. You keep playing with them. Your camp, everybody will leave. Keep playing with them. Sick of it, man. Verse number 16. But Jesus said unto them, they need not depart. Give ye them to eat. And they say unto him, we have here but 5 loaves and 2 fish. See, they're working, they're focused on their circumstance. They focus on what they don't have. See, the Lord doesn't need a whole lot. He doesn't need a whole lot of tangible things to work a miracle in your life. What he needs is astronomical faith. Faith costs you nothing. Faith doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to put anything in the collection plate to believe that he can do it. You know what? Just ride down, whatever city you live in, ride downtown sometime and pull over to the side of the road and go talk to the person that's sitting under the bridge and go ask them how faith works. A lot of them are down there, they aren't even complaining about the situation they're in. A lot of them will tell you, the Lord provides for me daily. We caught up in what we don't have. You got a house, you got lights, you got a car that you can crank up, food on your table every night, and yet you complaining about I don't have the 10-bedroom. I don't have the Lamborghini or the Bentley. I don't have the Mercedes. I don't got a one-car garage. I don't have two. I don't have enough money to go out here and shop with my girlfriend. I don't have enough money to put rims on my car. And the person under the bridge is content. They're appreciative that someone would stop by and give them a bag lunch with a bar of soap, with a water bottle, and the water not even cold. And they'll tell you, God provides for me every day. They understand the concept of God and how he works more than you who give every Sunday. You pouring money in the collection plate with the hope that you believe that if I give God 100, he gonna give me 1,000 because you've been taught that way. This person don't sow a dime in the collection plate. And every day the Lord makes sure that somebody stop by to give them something to eat. Your theology is jacked up. Your understanding of God and how he is and how he works is totally wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to be who I am. I cannot sugarcoat this. This is not a sugarcoating message. And when the Lord is tired and fed up, the truth has to be spoken. The truth is not commercialized. People don't like the truth. They love to be soothed. Our understanding is totally wrong. You've been in church 30 years. This is not a teaching to say, don't give. But when you give with the mentality and the understanding that God is a bank and that when whatever I put in, there's going to be interest that's going to kick back, the Lord will show you just how wrong you are, and he will show you who you following. And many people, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. The disciples are focused on their circumstances. They focus on what they can see at the moment. See, Christ is getting, he said, you feed them. I know what you have on you, but I'm trying to get you to have more faith for the people. Oh, man. Listen, Christ asked them, he told them. He said, look, you feed them. You know why? Because he knew what they had in their possessions. He's trying to teach them. See, he's teaching them in the midst of the crowd. See, Christ is resolved. He understands. He's the master teacher. He understands the setting. This is the right setting. I'm going to get the people in a place to where I'm going to provide for the people. I've been teaching, giving the people a teachable moment. Them following me from chapter 5. Now I'm going to come to a place where I'm going to teach everybody. See, this is not about just teaching certain people. This is why when we come into the truth of the scriptures, we got to teach everybody the gospel. We don't just limit the gospel to leadership. We teach the lay members, everybody in the church should be able to articulate the gospel. Everybody. A leader should be able to sit down and point to somebody in the audience and say, come up here and teach today. This is about teaching the people. This is not about the pulpit to the crowd, to the seats, to the congregation, to the audience. This is about the audience to the pulpit. Everybody within the church should be able to, in the assembly, should be able to teach the Bible and the gospel and articulate it. We shouldn't have to worry about who can teach. What do you mean who can teach? Everybody in there should be able to teach. It don't matter who you point at. The dude on the back row or the person on the front row. It don't matter. Everybody. But when it's dependent upon one person and something happens to that one person, the church is in chaos and it crumbles. You know why? Because your system is set up on a man and not the kingdom. When the system is set up on the kingdom and it's a kingdom system, everybody in the kingdom has the spirit and are able to be able to teach. He says, you give them something to eat. I don't need you to think about your circumstance, because when I leave, I need your faith for the people to be bigger than where it is now. This faith is about the people. I need you, disciples, to believe when the people can't believe. This is about growing you into what you're called to be. You're not what you're to be yet. You're still going through a process, but I'm trying to teach you because I'm not going to be with you always. So I need your faith to grow. I need astronomical faith to grow in you, not for yourselves, not to ask. This is not just about you. This is about your faith growing. So when the people can't believe, you can stand in the gap. That's what Big Mama and Big Daddy had an understanding, a solid understanding of prayer and faith. They believe for many of us, and that's where we're here today. Because if it was left up to us, we wouldn't have been where we're at right now. But Big Mama prayed. She understood it. She knew how to get a prayer through. She knew how long to pray. She knew she was going to pray without ceasing. And her faith level, she'll say, don't worry about it, honey. God will provide. She understood it. It was resolved in her. You couldn't sway her left or right. When it was time, when your cousin who was the drug dealer, every time he went to court, she always would sit and pray. I'm not going to the courthouse. I'm going to stay at home. God will make a way. And she'd be in that kitchen in there, and she'd be washing them dishes or cooking her food, and she had that hum, that fix it, Lord. And she'll be in there just fix. That's all she had to say. She don't even have to say. We want to be all intellectuals with our prayer, and you got to pray at a certain high pitch, or you don't have anointing. You got to pray with big words, and people want to turn around and make it seem as though you're just a prayer warrior because you know how to use big words and you're loud with your prayer. Anointing is not in the sound and the pitch of your voice. All right, let's get that understood. Big Mama will be in that kitchen and she'll be praying and humming, and all that is all it took. And when it happened, next thing you know, your cousin who should have got 10 years got 5 years probation. And Big Mama didn't have to step in a courtroom. She didn't have to do anything because her faith for others was so set and so solid and resolved. Y'all got all this education and y'all don't even know how to pray. You got all this education, all this internet and all this other stuff, and you don't even know how to communicate with God. And yet Big Mama had a 7th grade education, a 5th grade education, and she knew how to pray. And every time she got on her knees, God showed up. Every time Big Daddy would believe, God showed up. But y'all got all the education. You got all this other stuff. You got all the books. You got everything you got, and you don't even know how to get a breakthrough. You failing at your faith. You can't can't even believe God for a candy bar. You can't even believe God for a pack of hot dogs. And yet at the end of the day, you running around here like you some big shot and all this other stuff. God will expose you because you don't know how to pray. And you think that you got faith, and all you got faith is in faith. Many of you have faith in faith and not faith in God. Many of you have faith in books and not faith in God. And that is the problem. And that's why there's no deliverance. That's why our children are out of control. And that's why people are killing themselves. I remember growing up in Jacksonville, Florida, when there was a drug dealer at the corner, wherever neighborhood he was in. You had prayer warriors who would show up outside the front door at 5 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and they just stand out there and pray. They didn't have to talk to the drug dealer. They didn't have to do any of that. But by the next day, the drug dealer packed all of his stuff up and moved to another section until they found out where he was at then. They didn't need no guns. They didn't need nothing. All they had was their Bible, and they had a hum, and that was it. And as soon as the drug dealer knew they was outside, the presence of the Most High God rested on that drug house so much to the point to where they got him out of town. Y'all scared of the drug dealer. You won't go to the drug dealer house. You won't even walk in the street. You won't even pray. Y'all marching for a cause and not marching with a cause. You marching for a cause and not marching with a cause. All right? The cause is faith. The cause is Christ. You out here marching thinking that legislation, all y'all run around talking about put the vote. You got to vote this person in and vote that person. How many times you been voting and ain't nothing changed yet? You need to get your behind together and vote for the Most High God back into your life. You need to vote for faith for others, for faith, to have faith for others. Stop all of this madness. It's a bunch of madness and a bunch of foolishness. It's not working. And you keep going in the same circle over and over again, like the children of Israel, to the point to where you're going to die off. It took you 40 years to get there. Now you're out there dwelling. You took you 40 years to get to a place that should have took you a short time to get to. And now you're just running in a circle. Vote, 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 vote. Let's go out there and campaign and all kind of stuff. We're going to boycott and all this other, talking all this madness, and it ain't doing nothing. And ain't nobody sat back and say, we need to get our house in order. We need to get back to God's commandments. We need to get back to having faith and believing for the people and come out of these systems. And at the end of the day, until you continue to do that, no deliverance is going to take place, because nobody is going to be able to say that they delivered you out of anything but the true and living God. Get your behinds together. Let's keep reading here. Verse number 18. And he said, bring them hither. He said, bring me, let me show y'all something. Bring me the 2 fish. Bring me the fish. Bring me the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Let me show y'all how to work this. See, that's the thing. See, the Lord said, I don't need a lot. Just bring me what you got. That's all. See, some of y'all, the Lord is telling some of y'all around here thinking that y'all got, see, the Lord is giving you a vision and a business plan for something. He's giving you a great idea to create something and cultivate something. But yet you're too busy focused on, I need this amount of money first before I can get the business popping off. And the Lord said, what do you have? Okay, do you believe in me to perform a miracle? What do you have? Oh, you ain't got number $1,500. Oh, let me show you how to work this $1,500. I'm going to show you that what's in the 15, you can't see what's in there. I will have somebody come your way that got some more to put with what you got so that the idea can come to fruition. But many of us, we create ideas for ourselves. The Lord is looking for people. Are you going to create ideas that's going to help benefit others? I guarantee you, if you have an idea that will benefit others, that will help them, yes, you will receive, you will prosper in it. But yet, the Lord is looking for people. His eyes is roaming in the earth. I need some people. I need some people that love the people. I'm not looking for nobody that loves corporations and all this other stuff to make everybody else rich who are already rich. I need somebody who got an idea that I can give provision to and help the people. All right. Some of y'all, some of y'all got all kind of ideas to come up with food programs and all kind of other stuff. You need need to put it to action. Okay, have what you need to have, save you a little money, then go talk to somebody and trust the Lord. That way he can move in your life. Let's see here. Bring me the little fish and the little loaves of bread. Let me show y'all something here. I'm going to show y'all something. Bring me what you got. Let me show you. Verse number 18, he said, bring them hither to me. And he commanded the multitude to sit down. He said, y'all, I want y'all to sit down. Because you know what I want y'all to do? See, I want y'all to sit down. See, the crowd is looking. They all up. They trying to see what's going on. The Lord said, no, I want y'all to sit down. But see, sometimes the Lord won't need you to sit your behind down. You're right here trying to run and make stuff happen for yourself. Sit your behind down and watch God work. Come on, man. Let me tell you, somebody out there need to just sit their behind down somewhere and get out of God's way and let God work. You want somebody to be delivered in your life? You got a family member that need to be off drugs? Stop going around telling them every day that they need to be off drugs. They know they need to be off drugs. Why don't you go sit your behind down somewhere and trust the Lord and watch God work? I'm telling y'all need to get this thing together. You need to get this. You got a family member, you got a husband or somebody, you know the drug dealer on the corner who's selling drugs. He know he don't need to be selling drugs. What you need to do is you need to go sit your behind down somewhere and go talk to the Lord to get him off the corner. Because what you doing ain't working. All you doing is in God's way. The Lord ain't going to compete with you. He's not going to compete with you. You want change? You want somebody to change? Get your behind out the way and let God do it. He created them. He can change them. All you doing is getting in the way. He told them what to do. Y'all go sit down somewhere. I got this. I got this. I got this. You know how when people in the stadium, when they hit a shot and the crowd go crazy and people sit down, sit like the quarterback. The quarterback, when the people talking too loud, the quarterback like, hold on, I need y'all to settle down. So settle down because I want y'all to see this play that we about to run out here. I need y'all to settle down because we got them right here. We got them. Set up. Y'all making too much noise. I don't need other people getting involved because other people can't hear like I can hear. But I need y'all to settle yourself. Sit down, crowd. Sit down for a minute. Let me run this play real quick. And that's how the Lord told the crowd to sit down. Go ahead and sit down. Sit down, because I'm going to show y'all that I'm going to take these little old fish and these couple pieces of bread, and I'm going to show you the miracle that I'm going to perform, because I got more faith for you than you have for yourself. And watch what I do here. Watch this. Let's see it. He said, verse number 19, and he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed it. He understood where his help come from. He understood that nobody can do anything but the Father. He understood this. He was resolved. He said, I'm just here to do the working of the Father. That's it. So now I can take this little bit that I have. I can take this little $500. I can take this little $1,500 that I have to invest to make sure the people is provided for. It's just like when we started the Truth Tour. We didn't have a whole lot of money. We took the little money that we had and we started and rented a place so it could be free for the people. Okay, we took it. That way it could be free. We ain't charging the people a dime. And all of a sudden, we believed with the little bit that we had. And now all of a sudden, it became a movement. And everywhere we go, we don't charge the people a dime. And we showing the Lord. We believe that the Lord can deliver. We believe that the Lord can move and do something on the people. We got more faith for the people than we have for ourselves. It's not about us when we do this. So at the end of the day, the Lord been beginning to open up doors left and right. And that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. This is what he's showing. He said, look, I can take this little bit right here. He looked up to the Father. He said, Lord, all I have is this. But I know you're bigger than what we can see right now. The things that we have in our hand right now, these little fish and this little bread, we know that you're the creator of all things, and we are appreciative of the little bit that we have. We are content with this little bit that we have. Now, Father, multiply it, not for our sake, but multiply it for all of these who followed me so that they may be fed. This ain't about us. And Father, we're not going to eat a thing until everybody is fed. That's a demonstration to prove to you that it's not about us. This is a demonstration to prove to you that this is all about you and all about the people. This is all about the people giving you glory. We're going to make sure they eat. And we're not going to eat a thing until everybody has eaten. How many of you servant leaders do that? Make sure the people have before you do. You the leader. You say God called you to be the leader. Well, if he called you to be the leader, then there should be a demonstration of that. If we're to walk as he walked, there should be a demonstration of that. Come on, y'all. Let's finish it. We almost finished here. All right. Verse number 19, but he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass and took the 5 loaves and 2 fish and looked up to heaven. He blessed and brake and gave the loaves to his disciples and the disciples to the multitude. And they did all eat. They all ate for this little bit that he had. But he had astronomical faith. His faith was more than what he had. The more that he gave, that he blessed, that he gave thanks to. Verse 20, and they did all eat and were filled. Not only did they eat, but they got full. Not only did they eat, but they got full. And they took up of the fragments that remained 12 baskets full. 12 baskets full. And they that had eaten were about 5,000 men. Check this out. Listen to this. And they that had eaten were about 5,000 men beside women and children. Come on, man. And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side while he sent the multitude away. He got into a ship. They couldn't follow him then. It was too many to get on the ship. But he did not send them away until he had provided for them. The Lord would never ask you to follow him and not provide for you. But if you follow men, men will always send you away with nothing after you've gave everything. But the men who have the Spirit of the Most High in them, they understand the principles of God, and they understand that it's not about them, that they are servant leaders, and that God cares about his people being provided for. If you provide for the people, God will provide for you. Let me say that, leaders. You're a leader, pastor, teacher, evangelist. If you provide for the people, you don't have to worry about God providing for you. In fact, he's going to multiply more than you gave out. But that's because the faith that you have in situations when it comes to the people, the faith that you have is for the people. When they can't believe to a level, sometimes our faith requires us to believe for them. That ends our lesson. All praise to the Most High God. I pray that you cannot eat without eating from the word of God. For man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. I pray that you cannot drink without drinking from the living waters that flows from Christ. Let the light that is within you shine bright outside of you. And remember to love one another so that the world may know that we serve the true and living God. Grace, peace, many blessings to you all. Shalom to others. Shalom to everyone. All praises to the Most High God, our Creator. And we thank our Mashiach for redeeming us back to the Father. Grace to you.